Good morning to you all. So, welcome to another video where we are going to discuss the remaining question related to the previous topic which we were discussing. And the topic was governance system. And in the previous two videos, we have discussed at length the details and the fundamental concept regarding the various governance system. And we have also drawn the comparison between various systems like comparison between unitary and federal system, the parliamentary and the presidential system. So as we had completed up to question number 10 in the previous video, so we are going ahead with question number 11. So coming to this question, out of the following statement, choose the one that brings out the principle underlying the cabinet form of government. So this question is talking about the cabinet form of government. Cabinet form of government. So if you have read Polity or uh, watched my video, then you can easily tell that this cabinet form of government is nothing but uh, another name of parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government. So this parliamentary form of government, we have discussed that what do you mean by parliamentary form of government, and we had also drawn the comparison between parliamentary system and the presidential system. So for your basic knowledge, I would again like to tell you that we know that on the basis of nature of relationship between executive and legislature, nature of relationship between executive and legislature, we divided government into two parts, that is parliamentary and presidential. And we also discussed that what do you mean by parliamentary form of government. So we discussed that there is a concept, the basic concept or the fundamental concept which differentiate these two type of governance system is the concept of responsibility. So this is the utmost, or we can say the primary difference which differentiate this parliamentary and the presidential system. There is a concept of responsibility in the parliamentary form of government, while there is no such concept of responsibility. So which kind of responsibility we are talking about? The responsibility is that is executive responsible to legislature or not. So we had discussed that in the parliamentary form of government, this is responsible executive is responsible to legislature, while this is in the parliamentary, while there is no such concept in the presidential system. The executive is not responsible, means they are independent of each other, while in this parliamentary form of government, the executive is responsible to the legislature, and this is the exact meaning of parliamentary form of government. So this is some basic introduction about this parliamentary form of government, and this parliamentary form of government is a this is a part of basic structure of Indian Constitution. So it is a part of basic structure. And how do we know that our polity is a parliamentary form of government? So Article 75 Clause 3 clearly says that um, that the council of the executive, that is a council of minister, prime minister and council of minister, which we call executive, is collectively collectively responsible to Lok Sabha, that is legislature. So this is the fundamental concept underlying behind the parliamentary form of government, and this is further enforced, or we can say the evident from the Indian Constitution under Article 75 Clause 3, where it is clearly written that the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So we will come to this statement that what do you mean exactly by this statement, but the concept is that it talks about the parliamentary form of government. It talks about the responsibility, where I told you that this executive is responsible to the legislature. And this coming to the next concept is that I told you that this parliamentary form of government is known by various names. Like I told you that it is called responsible government. Why responsible? I told you that because the executive is responsible to the legislature. That's why it is called the responsible form of government. Second name by which this parliamentary form of government is known as cabinet form of government. Cabinet form of government. Why cabinet form of government? Because if you have read polity or you have some basic knowledge about the polity, then we know that there is a concept of cabinet. Cabinet is basically, in if we go by, specifically, that cabinet is basically a part of COM. These are the topmost minister in the Council of Minister. So this cabinet is basically the um, basically integral part, or we can say that nucleus of this parliamentary form government, because all the major decision are taken by this cabinet, and this cabinet is headed by prime minister. So we will learn in the Council of Minister that what do you mean by cabinet, Council of Minister. But as of for now, you must understand this COM is this bigger circle, and this cabinet, there are some ministers who are given important portfolios, so they are called cabinet minister. There are other minister also, minister of state with independent charge, they are deputy minister. So this cabinet is basically the nucleus of this parliamentary form of government, because all the major decisions are taken by this cabinet. So that's why it is called the cabinet form of government. The other name of this parliamentary form of government is the Westminster model. Westminster, West M I N S T R, Westminster. Westminster. Why it is called Westminster? It is called Westminster because it was the place where this parliamentary form of government originated. It is a place in UK, so that's why it is called Westminster form of government. The other name of parliamentary form of government is the prime ministerial government. Prime ministerial government. Why it is called prime minister? So in the recent times, the role of prime minister has been, we can say that, very integral, or it, prime minister has a kind of dominance over the cabinet. So that's why this parliamentary form of government in the modern context is also known by the name of prime ministerial form of government. Like in the case of India, we had a prime minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So she took the decision to impose emergency without consulting the cabinet. So any government, any government which has a clear-cut majority, and that prime minister has a leading role in securing the electoral victory, then the role of prime minister dominate over the cabinet, Like in the modern context, Mr. Narendra Modi is also such kind of minister who determines the direction of the government. So in such a strong scenario where the prime minister is a leading figure in the party, which is very integral to the political victory of that party, so in that case the prime minister role increases. So that's why it is called the prime minister form of government. So these are three four names by which the parliamentary system of form of government is known. So I have explained you that what are the meaning of this parliamentary form of government, what are the other meaning of this parliamentary form of government, and why they are called by such names. So now coming to that question, which we can easily solve, that this is nothing but the parliamentary form of government. So we know that what do you mean by parliamentary form of government? An arrangement for minimizing criticism against the government whose responsibility are complex and hard to carry out a satisfaction all. Is this the parliamentary form of government? So if we read all the statement, this statement also does not suit this cabinet form of government. Now coming to this C statement, a mechanism of parliamentary democracy. So we know that it is obviously a parliamentary democracy for ensuring collective responsibility of the government to the people. So this statement exactly encompasses the underlying principle of cabinet form of government, where it is talking about the collective responsibility of the government to the people. So indirectly the the members sitting in the legislature, uh, I told you that they ask question from the government, that is executive. So indirectly they are the representative of people, so indirectly the people are making the government responsible for their act and policies. So this is the correct statement, where it basically tells the basic, we can say that principle underlying behind the cabinet form of government, or we can say that parliamentary form of government. So the correct answer is C. So C is the right answer. So now moving ahead, coming to the next question. So in this way, I am also trying to understand the polity, and at the same time we are also trying to solve the question regarding that topic which we are studying. So next question is, in which report of second ARC, that is it is the Administrative Reform Commission. So from time to time the government appoints some commission for the reforms in the administration of the government. So in which report of the second ARC, barrier of good governance in India has been identified. So if we apply some common sense, though it is a factual question, but if we apply some common sense, that then citizen centric administration is one of the basically basic feature of good governance. So the report is basically the citizen centric administration, the heart of governance. So the answer is B. So it is the report of second ARC which says that uh, the good governance in India, the barriers of good governance has been identified in this report. So the answer is B. Now coming to the next question. There is parliamentary system of government in India because, so I told you the basic principle behind the parliamentary form of government is the principle of responsibility, and I told you that it is clearly written in the Indian Constitution that under it is under Article 75 Clause 3. It has been written that the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. So if it is clearly written that under Article 75 Clause 3 that Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. So this is basically the bedrock of parliamentary form of government. So the exact meaning of parliamentary form of government can be derived, or we can say that the principle behind the parliamentary form of government has been derived from the statement that the Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha. So the right answer of this question is D. Coming to the next question, main advantage of parliamentary form of government. So I will deal with this question separately when we discuss the advantages of parliamentary form of government. So first we will take the question uh, which we can solve on the previous knowledge. Coming to the next question, in the context of India, which of the following principles are implied institutionally in parliamentary government? Member of cabinet are the member of parliament. Member of cabinet are the member of parliament. Member hold office till they enjoy the confidence in the parliament. The cabinet is headed by the head of the state. So these are three different statements. If uh, you have studied the basic some other principle of the parliamentary form of government, like in the case of India, if you know some basic functioning of the government, then you can easily solve this question. But before solving this question, I would like to tell you further more principle regarding the parliamentary form of government in India. So coming to those principles, so one by one we will discuss those principles so that it will be easy to solve this type of questions. So features of parliamentary government. So I am talking about the feature of parliamentary form of government. So there are couple of features. The basic principle we have discussed is the concept of responsibility, but beside that there are some other feature in the functioning of parliamentary form of government. So first feature is that there are two type of executive, nominal and executive, nominal and real executive. So you can easily remember these features uh, if we take a look on the Indian polity. We have a president and we have also a prime minister. So there are two type of executive in India. Executive is the person who implement the policy or the decision or the laws which are basically made by the legislature. So the basic function of or basic task of executive is to implement those act, policies or laws. So there are two type of executive. Nominal. Nominal means in the name. It has only ceremonial power. So it is not a real executive. Uh, it does not have any real power. So nominal executive in the case of India is a president, and the real executive in the case of India is the prime minister. Because we know that under Article 74 it has been written that the president shall take decision on the aid and advice of prime minister and his council of ministers. So the basic force which is driving the president to take executive decision is the prime minister and his council of ministers. So ultimately the real power lies in the hand of the prime minister. So that's why it is called the real executive, and the president is called as the nominal executive, because it has also been written that the union executive power is vested in the hand of president. Union executive Union executive power is vested in president, and it has been written in article. So the article is article 53, where it has been clearly written that the union executive power is vested in the president. So although all the decisions are taken in the name of the president, but the real force behind taking those decisions is the prime minister and his council of ministers. So in the real sense, the prime minister is the real power, and this president is just like a stamp, uh, or we can say that it is a nominal executive. Nominal means in the name of president. All the decisions are taken in the name of president, while those decisions are actually made by the prime minister. So there are two terms which are used for this. This is de jure or nominal. De facto is used for de facto is used for real powers. So this is one important feature of a parliamentary form of government, that there are two executive, nominal and the real executive. In the case of Britain, nominal executive power lies in the hand of queen or king, and the real executive power lies in the hand of prime minister. So it is a similar case with the India also, where the president has a nominal power and the prime minister has a real power. The second important feature of this parliamentary form of government is majority party rule. So this majority party rule. So what is the meaning of this majority party rule? So like we will understand with the example. In the case of India, there are 545 seats in Lok Sabha. So first of all, Lok Sabha is the house which determine that which party will form the government, because this is the house of people. Here the representatives are directly elected by the people. So this house basically determine that who will form the government. So any political party which secure more than 50% of seat in the Lok Sabha form the government. So the half of this 545 is around 272. So the party which secure more than this 272 seats in the Lok Sabha form the government. So in the current government, BJP is BJP has around 300 plus seat in the Lok Sabha. So it has secured this majority mark, and that's why the BJP government is ruling at the center. So the meaning of this statement is that the party which has majority in the Lok Sabha basically rules the country, and the leader of that party is prime minister, and other minister are appointed by the president on the advice of prime minister. So prime minister advises the president that who all person who all person the prime minister want to uh, put in his cabinet or in his council of minister. So these minister, I will explain that these minister are one of the member in the parliament, either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. They can be member of both houses of parliament. A minister can be from either from Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. So this is the basic meaning of majority party rule. Third feature of this parliamentary form of government is that there is a concept of collective responsibility. Collective responsibility. So this terminology has been discussed many times, but for a brief information, Article 75 clearly says that, Clause 3 says that Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So what does this mean? This means that any act or any decision taken by this executive or any executive, suppose any ministry take any decision, so this decision is considered to be decision of whole government. It cannot be like one ministry has taken this decision. Suppose in the case of farmers bill, agriculture ministry took a decision to introduce the farmers bill, while other ministry are opposing that bill. So this can't happen in a parliamentary form of government. The decision of a ministry is the decision of whole government, means that they owes joint responsibility joint responsibility to any act, whether they are introducing any bill, whether they are withdrawing any bill. So they owes joint responsibility. So this is the exact meaning of collective responsibility. The other meaning of collective responsibility is also like, um, when any no confidence motion, suppose a no confidence motion is passed, no confidence motion is passed in, and it is always passed in Lok Sabha, because that is the house which actually determine the formation of government. So suppose any no confidence motion is passed in Lok Sabha, then whole COM has to resign. Whole COM has to resign. Means the simple meaning of this statement is that they work like a team. Work like a team, which swim together. If they are swimming, if they are sinking means the government falls, then whole the COM sinks. So they work like a team, they swim together, they sink together. So that is the basic meaning of this statement of collective responsibility. Now coming to the next feature, this was feature number 3. This is feature number 4, political homogeneity. So there is a concept of political homogeneity, like all the people who are part of COM, which we also call executive, political executive, they are basically member of single party, the party which is in the majority, single party which is in the majority. So there are very few situations where the dispute arises or a consensus uh, is not being built over a decision. So this ensures that the political homogeneity is maintained in the COM if any decision is taken. So the basic advantage of this parliamentary system is that there is a concept of political homogeneity. While we will study in the presidential system that these people need not to be need not to be belong to a single party. They can be from various fields. So there are chances where dispute arises or over the consensus over a decision. So while in the parliamentary system, this concept of political homogeneity is maintained through this concept that all the member in the COM belong to single party, the party which is in the majority. So this is one more feature of this parliamentary form of government. The next feature is that double membership. Double membership in the sense that suppose this is legislature. So I told you that some of the people from this legislature are appointed as ministers. or they are made part of executive. So I told you that uh, obviously the minister will be from the party which has a majority in the Lok Sabha. So these people from the Lok Sabha are made minister. So they are on the one hand they are the part of legislature, they are MPs while they sit in the parliament, but they are also elected as minister. Some of them are elected as minister, so they are also part of executive also. And one more thing I will tell you that not only member from the Lok Sabha are only appointed as minister, the member from Raj Sabha are also made ministers belonging to that party. Suppose BJP has a majority in the Lok Sabha, so they make some minister from the Lok Sabha. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is himself from the Lok Sabha, while the person in the current scenario is in news. Our foreign minister S. Jaishankar, he is from Raj Sabha. In fact, he is from Gujarat state. He is being elected from the Gujarat state to the Raj Sabha. So he is a foreign minister and he is from Raj Sabha. So member from both houses are made minister. So the point here I want to tell you that there is a double membership. On the one hand, they are the part of legislature because Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha are the part of legislature, and they are also part of executive because they are being made minister. So suppose this is legislature, some of the people are made minister, so this is executive, so they are a subset of this. So there is a kind of intermixing between legislature and executive, while this is not case with the presidential system. So I have given you an example that how this concept of double membership present in the parliamentary form of government. Next important feature of this parliamentary form of government is that leadership of prime minister. So we know that prime minister has a very significant role in a parliamentary form of government, and I told you in the beginning that in the current scenario parliamentary form of government has been reduced to prime ministerial form of government because prime minister has a very dominant role in giving the direction to the country government functioning. So there is a leadership of prime minister. Next concept is dissolution of Lok Sabha. So I told you that Lok Sabha is the only house which can be dissolved. Rajya Sabha can never be dissolved. It is a continuous house. It is a, in fact permanent house. So this Lok Sabha is dissolved can be dissolved at two instances. First, when there is a automatic dissolution, automatic when the 5-year tenure is being completed. So the Lok Sabha is dissolved for a fresh election. And second thing is the situation. Second situation is the hung parliament. When no party is getting majority in the Lok Sabha, then the president dissolve the Lok Sabha. While there is situation when a party is ruling, suppose BJP, we take a current example. Suppose BJP is ruling at center, but suppose BJP is not is not in a majority, clear majority. It has formed government with some of his alliances. So it has taken help from some of his allied partner. So they are making some compromises while taking any decision, but they want that they should get a clear majority. So they can advise president to dissolve the Lok Sabha for a fresh election so that they could get clear majority if they are confident. So that party which has a majority has the power to dissolve Lok Sabha, to to advise the president to dissolve Lok Sabha. So, or in all three situations, it is the prime minister and his council of ministers. We know that all the decisions taken by the president are on the advice of prime minister and his council of ministers. So, it is the prime minister and his council of ministers which has power to advise the president to dissolve Lok Sabha. When the term is about to over, the president and council of ministers advises president to dissolve the Lok Sabha. In the case of hung parliament, it is on the discretion of the president. While any government uh, which is a minority government which has some support of allied partner but wanted a clear cut majority, like some year back, Delhi government dissolved their assembly to get a clear mandate, and in the next election they got the clear mandate. So in such a scenario also, the government can advise president to dissolve the Lok Sabha. And the next and the last important point is that there is a concept of secrecy. So it is written in article 75 that the executive should maintain secrecy about their act, about their policies, about their decision. So this is one of the not a very significant feature but an important feature of this parliamentary form of government. So these are some 8 features of this parliamentary form of government. So now we can easily solve that question, and we will also in a similar manner understand the presidential form of government and what are its feature and how it is different from this parliamentary form of government. And we will also learn that what are the advantages of parliamentary form of government and what are the disadvantages, and uh, also compare with this presidential form of government. So coming to the that question which we left, so it was question number 15. So in the context of India, which of the following principles are implied institutionally in the parliamentary government? So now we can easily solve this question as we have studied the basic feature of any parliamentary form of government, particularly with respect to Indian government. Member of cabinet are member of parliament. So I told you that there is a concept of double membership, where I told you that the member of legislature are basically made the member of executive. So here member of cabinet means executive cabinet, that is executive ministers are the member of parliament. So I told you that the member in the executive, that is council of minister, they are taken both from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So basically they are the member of parliament, that is a true statement. Member hold office till they enjoy the confidence in the parliament. So I told you in the collective responsibility that, and in the collective responsibility also, and in the majority party rule also, I told you that the party which has the majority in the Lok Sabha form the government. They make their prime minister, they make their minister. So till they hold the majority in the parliament, that is confidence in the parliament, the minister hold office. So that is also true statement. Cabinet is headed by the head of the state. So I told you that cabinet is headed by the prime minister. Is it the head of a state? So I forgot to tell you one thing that in the concept of real and nominal executive, that head of the state is always president, the person which has the nominal power, and head of the government is prime minister, which has the real power. So we know that cabinet is always headed by the prime minister, and it is not the head of the state, it is the head of government. So this statement is incorrect. So this is incorrect, this is incorrect, only 1 and 2 are correct. So here the answer is A. So this is the right answer. Now coming to the next question. In the parliamentary system of government, so the basic principle is the responsibility, then the executive control legislature, or it legislature control executive. So D is the right answer. The legislature control executive. The executive is made responsible by the legislature. So D is the right answer. So we had studied this concept, and now we can easily solve these simple questions, the fundamental questions. Now coming to the next question. A parliamentary system of government is one which all political parties in the parliament are represented. Not necessarily. The government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it. So I told you that government means executive. That is the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. It is responsible to the parliament. Parliament is the legislature. So this is the basic principle of any parliamentary form of government. So the answer is B. We can read other statement also, but they are not uh, correct. Now coming to the next question. We adopted parliamentary democracy based on the British model, but how does our model differ from that model? So we will read about this, how the Indian parliamentary system is different from the British parliamentary system. Though we have adopted this parliamentary form of government from the Britain only, but there are some differences. So we will learn these differences soon. But leaving this question, we will discuss it later, because first of all we must know the concept. We must know the differences between the both system. Now coming to the next question. So we have left some question which we will discuss only after we discuss some of their basic concept. Now coming to the next question. Question number 19. In the presidential government, all the executive are vested. So basically these questions are from the presidential government. So we will discuss the presidential government, then only we will be able to solve, and you will also be easily able to understand this question. So stopping this video here only, we will make another video regarding these remaining concept, that what are some more feature of any presidential form government, what are its demerits and merits, and what is the difference between Indian parliamentary form of government and the Britain parliamentary form of government. So thank you and have a nice day. If you like our video, please like, subscribe, and do comment in our comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.